First off, do you have any nude pics that leaked to the internet? No, I'm kidding, of course. I'm a gentleman.
Alright, what I want to ask Espella about is... After we separated in London, or Espella's memories. Let's talk about that.
Could you tell us again what happened? Between the time that we were separated in London and your returning to Labyrinthia? You said you can't clearly recall what happened to you, is that right?
No, I can't. When I came to, I was back here in Labyrinthia. I can remember everything up until I boarded that cargo ship. But after that, I just can't seem to remember how I got back here. It seems the townsfolk didn't even notice that I'd been away. I almost thought the whole thing must have just been a dream. Until the two of you appeared here in Labyrinthia, it seems I wasn't dreaming after all.
Yes, indeed. It all really did happen. You came to my office, and then the witch came for you.
So does that mean the witch brought Espella back to Labyrinthia? Well, I suppose so, but why was I in London in the first place? Eh? Why did I meet you two gentlemen? Why was the witch after me? I just can't seem to remember why. Espella, you and Carmine were running away from the witches, weren't you? Carmine?
Do you mean to say you don't remember being in London with Carmine?
Carmine took you with him and tried to escape from this town. Carmine took me with him and tried to escape? I'm sorry, I do have a vague memory of Carmine, but why was I in London? I just can't seem to remember. Damn. Full-fledged amnesia. Ugh. Sorry, I'm taking a sip of water. Alright.
Do you remember this letter, Espella?
A letter?
Yes, Carmine gave you this letter and instructed you to bring it to me. You followed his advice and brought it to me at my office.
That letter? Could I take a closer look at it?
Yes, of course. Do you remember anything?
I don't remember the letter, but this writing does look somewhat familiar. I do have a feeling that there was someone here next to me. Huh? Aha!
Espella, are you alright?
I think I remember. I remember Carmine. Really? You're right, I do know him. I definitely know Carmine. Carmine was here in this town. In fact, he was in this very shop.
In this shop, Espella?
But according to the townsfolk, they never even heard of him. Yes, that's right. What they say contradicts what I remember. That's why I'm finding it so difficult to trust my own memories.
Please, don't let that deter you. We'd be grateful to hear what you know.
What I want to ask her is... what can she recall? Alright.
Please, do let us know what you can recall.
According to my memory, Carmine was working here in this bakery. Hey, but there are already two workers in the shop, right? Mr. Wright and Maya. Those two have also been working here making bread for some time now. Or at least I'm quite sure that must be the case. Mrs. Eclair and anyone else around here would soon tell you so. That's why I put no faith in my memory.
This difference in perception is certainly intriguing, and the fact that Carmine worked here has me somewhat curious.
Do you think all the townsfolk could just be pretending not to know? I mean, maybe Carmine really was here and they're acting like they don't remember. After all, he did mention in that letter that he wrote that he escaped from Labyrinthia. How about we go and ask a few people around town?
No, Luke, I don't think that's a good idea. As you are no doubt well aware by now, a single word out of place can be enough to bring in the knights against us.
Not only that, but I really cannot believe that Mrs. Eclair would pretend not to know him. She's always so straight with people. She's never two-faced. I see.
Perhaps, Luke, we should be thankful that she took care of him.
Yes, you're right, of course, Professor.
By the way, in that letter, Carmine claimed that this town held a mysterious secret. He implied that he wanted me to solve Labyrinthia's mystery. Do you have any idea what that mystery could be?
Labyrinthia's mystery? I'm sorry, but I've never even suspected that this town holds any secrets.
Then what might it have been that Carmine was investigating?
What was Carmine investigating? I think I might know what it could be. One time, Carmine asked me this. Why is it that whatever is written by the storyteller in the Historia Labyrinthia always becomes fact? If that puzzle can be solved, then we will unravel the mystery of Labyrinthia, he said. So Carmine didn't believe that what's written was always come true either. Well, I'm not sure, but what? It's only natural that what's written in that book must come true. And it's hard for me to believe that both of you and Carmine could doubt this. Well, speaking for myself, I can't just believe it so easily.
Nevertheless, to the people of Labyrinthia, it appears to be a matter of common sense. Which is why those knights treated us with such suspicion.
That's true, but... Are you saying that in your London, there's no story?
Well, there are certainly none that come true as the Historia Labyrinthia does. In the world as we know it, such a notion is inconceivable.
As I suspected, Carmine is from the same London as you two. So I suppose it makes perfect sense that you should all think in that way.
Incidentally, what action did Carmine take after he came to suspect the story?
Well, Carmine also visited the Great Archive.
The Great Archive?
Yes, that's where all the volumes of the story are kept.
You mean to say all previous volumes too?
Yes, every volume of the story so far. All of them.
I see. In other words, he wanted to confirm the authenticity of the story.
But, Professor, surely he wouldn't be in trouble with the witches just for looking at some books.
As I recall, in the letter he sent to me, he wrote, I realized the town held a mysterious secret, and decided to get to the bottom of it. But before I could, they found me. I believe that was it. Which probably means it wasn't just ordinary books that he was investigating. It's quite likely that the books had something to do with the witches.
So you mean Carmine came close to unraveling Labyrinthia's mystery, and therefore became the witch's target, is what you were suggesting?
I believe that would be highly probable.
But why did the witches... Espella, have there been any other stories involving witches therefore before this? Yes. There have been many stories about them. All of these stories are also being kept in the Great Archive.
Alright.
The witch's story.
Stories about the witches are no doubt a source of considerable fear to the townsfolk.
So why is it deemed necessary to keep such stories in the Great Archive? They are an important source of information for the Inquisition. Their prime objective is to capture witches and protect the people of the town.
So you're saying that in order to fight the witches, it's essential to read about them and learn their ways?
Yes, that's right. Stories involving the witches are under the authority of the Order of Knights. And the Order of Knights was established to protect the town of Labyrinthia. The storyteller, the Order of Knights, and the Inquisition. They are the ones who govern this town. The entire fate of Labyrinthia is decided by the Creator, otherwise known as the Storyteller. That personage is the weaver of all life in Labyrinthia, including the current horrifying story involving the actions of a witch. It then falls to the Order of Knights to protect the townsfolk from such events. The Knights not only protect the people, but also act as the storyteller's guard. And finally, the Inquisition is responsible for trying the witches in the witches' court. That is the manner in which this town is managed and order is maintained.
Undoubtedly, it was the Order of Knights keeping peace during the parade we saw.
That's right, the storyteller holds those parades from time to time. He gives the townsfolk the story that will determine the fate from that time onwards. The story this time involved a witch, which explains why the knights were on such high alert. I wonder what spells will be used this time. If only we could check that book.
Just a moment, Espella. What was it you just said? Do you mean to say there is a book about magic?
Yes, there is, in the Great Archive. It describes all the spells that provide the witches with their wicked power. It is a special book used by the Knights of the Inquisition to aid them in their investigations.
That's it! That must have been what Carmine was so interested in. He was investigating the witch's power. Of course, it's possible that he came upon a secret that he shouldn't have known.
And that's why those witches attacked him?
Indeed, Luke, that may well be the reason. The story, which so respected by so many people, and the witches whom they fear. There could be a certain secret connecting the two in some way. Thank you, Espella. It seems we now know where to begin our investigation.
So you'll be visiting the Great Archive?
Yes, indeed. The book about magic that resides there may well provide a valuable clue towards unraveling the mystery of Labyrinthia.
We better get going with our investigation straight away, right, Professor?
Absolutely, Luke. We must solve this puzzle for Carmine's sake as well as our own.
Mr. Layton? Please take me along with you.
I'm not sure that's wise. It might put you in more than a little trouble. It is likely that Carmine's investigations are what led him to being pursued by witches. And if that's the case, the path we tread may well be fraught with danger.
Even so, I really would like to help you. Talking with you like this, I too have become to believe that there must be a secret in this town. I want to help you find the truth.
Well, Espella, I suppose that settles it. From here on in, let's all do our very best to solve this mystery together.
Yes, together. I'm the Professor's apprentice, so if there's anything you need to know, just ask. Haha, thank you, Luke. I'll be sure to do that. No, I'll never do that, you little runt. I'll never ask you anything.
Well then, without any further ado, let's follow in Carmine's footsteps and visit the Great Archive. I'm quite certain there's where clues are waiting to be found.
Yes, let's go. Aw, not you, Eve. I'm afraid you'll have to stay here until I get back. Poor kitty. And the kitty leaps like a ninja and catches a pendant of some sort. Oh, my pendant. I almost forgot it.
That's a lovely pendant, Espella.
It's very old. I can't even remember how old I was when I started wearing it. Right, sorry to have kept you. Shall we leave for the Great Archive now?
And so our three heroes are off to the Great Archive.
Oh, Espella, are you off out somewhere? Yes, I'm taking Mr. Layton and Luke to see the Great Archive. Is that so? Well, you might want to hurry. It looks like it might rain at any time. Ah, yes, that reminds me. Could you please get me something while you're out? Just on your way back would be fine. Yes, of course. What can I get you? Some goat's milk from Mary. Mary, I forgot to get some when I was at the market. Okay, I'll stop around Mary's to farm on the way back. Would you? There's a milk bucket ready around the back. Milk, you say? Naturally, our bakery uses only the finest goat's milk for our milk loaf. It's so fluffy and white, it's delicious. Cool. Sounds great.
Let's be certain to try some later, Luke.
I'm totally up for that.
Alright, cool.